is to me like a school like no other, what we're in right now.
But even that has an upside, because any collective reckoning is only as strong as each individual is willing to do their inner work.
When we're in the sympathetic response, it's more of a reactionary place.
Of course, there's going to be some wonkiness, but leaning toward the opportunity, I think that's a good thing.
Aloha mamas, and welcome to the CoronaMama Zoom Room. The show is brought to you by the Maui Mama magazine, and we are here for you, the Maui Mama, to help you to express and connect and to share all those things that are on our minds during this pandemic time. Our motto is #share aloha and not corona. I'm Angeline Chu Longshore, and today we're talking about pandemic proactive wellness. And so I want to tell you, I had a brush with COVID. My husband had a brush with COVID, actually, and that impacted our entire family. So he didn't have COVID, none of us have COVID, but just this possible exposure put our whole family into a situation. It was really, really hard. So he had to quarantine for 14 days, and that meant my family was distanced from him. He was in another room altogether, his own bathroom and everything, and I handed food and everything he needed to him through a glass door. A lot of families don't realize what it's like, so I just thought I'd tell you that I have that whole story on my Instagram, and you can check the show notes below on the Maui Mama magazine Facebook page to find that on my Instagram. So that said, we are still in this pandemic. Our numbers in Hawaii are up and still rising, although in Maui, we're doing pretty well recently. Good job, guys. Our numbers are going down. But with all that said, there still is so much that we don't know. There's so much that experts don't know. And we don't know when there's going to be a treatment, a vaccine. So here's the deal, mamas. In my mind, I'm thinking, okay, we need to do something about this. And since we can't actually do something about getting a vaccine or treatment right now, what we can do is be proactive with our health. We can be proactive with our wellness. So in the next shows following this and starting today, I'm going to be doing a series on proactive wellness. And I might throw in a couple of other topics in between, but basically, I think this is what we really need to focus on, is like, how can we actually be as strong as we can be when we are exposed to COVID? Because we know that there are some people who are exposed and get hit really hard, and they can have it, and then after the infection, their symptoms can last for months or however long that can be. We don't know yet. And then other people, they get it and it's like a mild cold. So here's the thing. This is what we can do about it. We can be proactive. So that's what we're talking about today in the show. I have two wise wellness gurus in my mind. They're actually friends of mine. They're people that I know who have been supportive in the community. So we're talking to them today about proactive wellness through yoga, through mindfulness, through breathing, and we'll do some breathing exercises with them, which will be great. And I also want to say that, when I started the show, I thought that it would be really great to have women come together. And so that's what we're going to be doing with them in this show. Is they're people who were there for me when I was having a little moment with being in quarantine with my husband or with my husband in quarantine. So this is like one of those chats that just, it's women coming together, which is what we all need. But before we get to that, this is a really sweet, sad yet beautiful story involving the Maui Humane Society. An employee at the Humane Society, Kristen de Blasi, lost 3 grandparents to the coronavirus, all in a 10-day span in April. So Kristen decided to honor her grandparents by donating some of their inheritance to the Forever Pets program. Kristen coordinates this program, which helps keep the pets and their pet owners together. And it was developed because of the financial impact of COVID-19 for pet owners. So Kristen will match public donations up to $15,000 in honor of her grandparents. So go to the Maui Humane Society website to help by making a donation. And stay till the end of the show to see those adorable pets that are available to adopt from the Maui Humane Society right now. Hi, ladies. Welcome to the CoronaMama Zoom room.
Thanks for having us.
So good to see your faces today. Would you just introduce yourselves to us? Tell us what you do.
Sure. So happy to be here. This is a great opportunity, Angelina. I love what you've put together here for the community, really serving the need, especially at this time. It's critical. I'm Ember Behrendt. I am a health coach and a neuromovement practitioner, movement teacher, and a Wim Hof method instructor.
And Jennifer?
My name's Jennifer Lynn, and I'm the owner of Wisdom Flow Yoga on Maui, a yoga school, and I'm a yoga teacher and a yoga teacher trainer.
So I brought you to the CoronaMama Zoom room because both of you are such wise women, and we're talking about proactive health, how to be healthy. But I was thinking about how so many of us think about being healthy as I need to exercise, I need to diet, like certain things we need to do that are extremely compartmentalized. And I know that I've learned from both of you that we are whole beings. And so I wanted to just talk about that and discuss that. And also, you both are such women that hold space in a way that made me feel, we just jumped on this Zoom call prior to this just for a minute. And I just want to be honest, I felt that I could just let go. And so I started crying because we're in this time where we're not really interacting so much with people. And these two women have been there for me in yoga class, in health. And I felt like I could let go and be held by a couple of women in what I'm going through right now with my husband in quarantine and different things going on. So I wanted to know what's going on with you guys and where are you at just in this moment?
Well, I am actually excited about what's happening. I feel like it is a rich opportunity, and it has the sense of a brilliant way of pumping the brakes all over the globe so that everybody together can have a poignant pause, excuse me, and start to question, what is the direction we're headed in? And since we are all sort of pumping the brakes on these systems that had so much momentum, and many of them were creating destruction for the planet, perhaps together, collectively, we can use this as an opportunity to create a reckoning and a redirection together, and do it compassionately with a deeper sense of community and a deep shared reverence for the planet. So, and I feel like my life has been spent with a lot of alone time, so it hasn't been so much of a shift for me, although I do have compassion for people who are used to deep social interaction and then having to pull away. But even that has an upside, because any collective reckoning is only as strong as each individual is willing to do their inner work. So we sort of have that opportunity, if we're willing to take it, to do our inner house cleaning and the introspection and the redirection within and the deeper connection with soul and the life that shimmers within us. So I'm trying to see the whole thing as an opportunity and inspire others to lean in that direction. Of course, there's going to be some wonkiness, but leaning toward the opportunity, I think that's a good thing.
I think we should all lean. I know a lot of people have been feeling that internal, that turn in. And I feel redirected in this moment from just what you said, that turning in and taking that opportunity. So Ember, how is it for you right now?
It's a wild ride. That's to sum it up. I feel that it's a lot of just riding these waves. So we have the peaks and the valleys, and they come and they go. I mean, and we just are in a very much a continual change. You know, Pema Chodron, for example, and a lot of the Tibetan teachers, they teach about this being in the in-between states, which is the transitory nature of reality, not just our life now, but in our entire existence as a consciousness, our journey. We're having transition moments, big periods that are transitory, and right now that is, to me, what is really up. And to notice and become comfortable with it. That's a lot of the teachings from, like, for the Tibetan Book of the Dead, for example, is to become comfortable with the transitions. And this is, to me, like a school like no other, what we're in right now. And you know, we know it. I mean, I get goosebumps to just bring it up, to tune into that, because we've been told this for so long. You know, so many teachers, the ancients, you know, we've been anticipating. And even if we weren't reading those things, we have this sense inside of us. And so I think there's a lot going on with the, you know, how the sensation of excitement is so similar to the sensation of fear. And because of a lot of the stories and things that we are concerned about, we're oftentimes more identifying with the feelings that we're feeling as fear, when, you know, it just takes a tiny little shift and some help from a friend to really hold that space for us to see,
and the transmutation of fear into opportunity. That's our flashpoint of power.
Yeah.
Well said.
Yeah. And for me personally, I just want to say that, you know, sometimes these things, it hits me like out of the blue, because, oh my gosh, I'm suddenly feeling anxiety about something or concern about something. And if I let my mind just do its thing without some awareness, or if I've kind of let my supportive environment or my supportive practices or supportive people, I haven't stayed as kind of connected or really integrated with them, just a little bit of slacking off, then I can tend to feel that more. And then that's when the self-judgment, you know, like the mind and will like turn, oh, what are those feelings, as like, I don't want those feelings, I shouldn't have those right now, they're inconvenient. And that kind of rejection really is counterproductive, of course. So again, why we need to, that self-love is really, it's what we're doing with each other. We're supporting each other in cultivating our own self-love. And as we see ourselves doing that for each other, it makes it easier for us to do that for ourselves. So that's the way I'm looking at it right now, you know.
We need women like both of you to lead us and help redirect with your perspectives, because you've studied so much of this and have lived this in a way that other people haven't. You've really thought things through, it seems to me, for a very long time in your studies.
I think...
No, go ahead.
If I may.
Yes, please.
I think one of the things that's happening for many of us is that the structure of our lives has crumbled. And so there's this sort of amorphous movement through each day that can be ungrounding. And so having some kind of semblance of structure, even though it's going to be very different than what we were living pre-March, is going to be very helpful for turning this time into something that is deeply productive. And that's why we at the studio went immediately into live stream classes and No Yogi Left Behind. If you're on a budget, you email us and we'll set you up with a free pass. We want this to be something that allows structure into people's lives. And we're doing more breathing and meditation in the classes and talking a little bit about what's going on, so we can bring sort of this collective union that sees it as an opportunity and people willing to participate in it as a wonderful, fruitful turnaround. And even what you're doing, Angelina, is offering a little bit of connectivity and structure in people's lives. And that is so powerful at this time because everybody, well, most people's regular structure is being completely blown apart.
Yeah, we need those anchors, I think, in our
Yeah.
lives.
And that's what the disciplines of ancient practices are all about. Yeah, the structure that organizes us and aligns us in a way that the bigger energy can come through.
And I think there's some people who kind of think I should just know how to do this on my own. Like, there's people who self-judge in a way that, oh, I shouldn't be feeling stressed or I should get over it and just charge ahead and be okay. What do you have to say about that? I know there's so much wisdom in your thoughts about that.
Well, I think that tendency to feel separate from the human family and feel like I got to figure this out by myself is part of the problem. And so then to solve the problem with that old energy, not going to work. So again, Angelina, kudos to you, because what you're doing is saying, I felt in the parking lot that day with that woman, that story you shared with us, that community and reaching out is the solution here, is part of the healing. And I completely agree. So like just that feeling that you had of, oh, these are women I trust who can hold space for healing. And it just made you want to crumble and fall apart and cry a little bit because there's so much of that sensation in us where we're like, hold it together, I got to hold it together, figure it out by myself. And then when you're in a group that says, no, fall apart, we're here for each other, we're not going anywhere, and we need to allow for that. Because that's part of the crumbling that allows us to restructure in a higher way, is letting ourselves emotionally fall apart too. Because part of it is a mourning of the old way and mourning of the old self and mourning of that sense of, we can all do it alone, it's me. No, it's us.
And that's why I wanted to be transparent in just saying, like, I am feeling a lot right now. And Ember, you sharing that you are feeling these waves too, because I think that helps us, that helps me just to crumble and to rebuild again. If I'm not going to crumble and I'm going to hold on, I'm holding on to all these crumbly pieces. And I don't want to hold on. I want to rebuild and get rid of those things that don't serve me right now. And go, oh, okay, that was good. I got that off my chest. And now I'm ready to open to hear the wisdom from both of you and the love and receive the love that you're giving me right now. And if we don't let go and share and show people that sometimes we're weak, sometimes we have these moments, then we're kind of like building our own little isolated island, and you can become more and more and more isolated and secretive. And I feel like it's time to just really be human with each other. We're all going through this, and I feel like we can, and it's like an opening, a breaking through of, I'm not perfect. I'm not that Instagram, like, perfect plate of everything food and beauty. And that's actually good that I'm not.
How boring would that be?
Yeah. So I wanted to get into the holistic part, because I want to go deeper than the obvious things that we do for our health. This is a time when, we're all thinking, how do we stay healthy? And before we even get to the point of needing treatments, we can do things so that we even avoid getting sick. And so that's, I think, on many levels we can work on this, and you both have the wisdom to share with us. So, tell me about your thoughts about proactive health and how we can approach this with maybe a different kind of, more holistic kind of thinking.
I think one of the most important things for proactive health is the perspective that recognizes ourselves as intelligent living entities within us that are that love us, that are programmed towards well-being and are constantly trying to move in that direction towards vibrant well-being. That's happening within us without anybody sending a memo. And often that goes unrecognized. You know, we ask the body to do a lot of things. We stress it out in a lot of different ways without this feeling of there is source energy shimmering in every cell of my body, doing its best 24/7 to serve me. And just waking up to that perspective and having that sense of gratitude towards yourselves. I mean, we often think that the mind lives in the brain, but the consciousness in the mind is alive in every cell of the body, as well as source energy. There's an interaction between our body and the living things around us and the earth itself and the cosmos itself. That relationship is consistent from the microscopic all the way to the macroscopic. And so when you understand that even without my little human brain interacting with that, that is constantly happening. And then you think, well, what if I recognized it and started to interact with it? That is I think the first step, that perspective is the first step to a powerful proactive health regime or perspective.
I just want to thank my cells. Like
Yes.
thank the wisdom within myself
Yes.
right now. And maybe you watching, you might want to just thank that and nature in working together. Ember, what are your thoughts on that?
That's beautiful. Yes. It comes down to feeling ourselves and really feeling ourselves. Not just, oh, I feel that and name it. Oh, I feel that now and name it and going on to the next thing, because that's where we've been living from so much as a collective, you know, as a society. The culture has been go, 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 do, and more, quantitative model of things. And that which is what is breaking down happily, giving us a chance to now pause and really be with ourselves. And just as what Jennifer spoke to, remember who we are, who we really are. We're not this identity. This is an experience that we're having, and we're recreating ourselves moment by moment.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, this is what's happening. So we don't have to keep recreating ourselves as per some outdated model and patterns. You know, and in order to really be empowered to create ourselves more in line with and connected with, as an integration of that higher selves of our eternal beingness, it's feeling, because that's where we understand. Yeah,
that is the shift. That's the energy shift. Like, to ground this idea into daily practices, you might think, when I am bathing myself, I am more than cleaning the dirt off my body. You can think of it as a way to feel reverence for the body. Feel reverence for the body. Have a conversation with yourselves, just like you were doing, Angelina. Thank you, skin, for protecting the system. Thank you, lungs, for pulling in what the trees give and giving what they need. Thank you, blood, for bringing nutrition to the far reaches. And thank you, strong bones. You know, things like that. It can be a bath for your cells, a bath of energy, of appreciation. Elevated energy changes physiology. Elevated energy changes physiology. That is so important. Yeah, make it into a little song that you sing with your children or just with with yourself. That is the way that we can ground this. Start talking to your body like what would we like for breakfast? Would we want to take a walk? How would that feel? And just like Ember is saying, pausing to really feel your cells respond to these suggestions, we can develop this inner sensitivity, so we start to really feel that we are divine. And then we start to live more in that noble divine state. That is a big part of proactive health.
When I was doing this and appreciating my cells, I literally felt like a chemical shift. Is there science behind that? I know both of you study science quite a bit.
Absolutely. Oodles of it. Oodles of it.
It's true.
Yeah,
We have so much that has come to light in the last 15 years and especially the last 10 years. And the interesting thing is it hasn't really reached the mainstream yet. I mean, we've been exposed to it. It's just like to be able to maybe share it in a conversation is not quite out there in the mainstream where it's kind of like you know, it took some time for the human race to adapt to Galileo's model versus, you know,
Absolutely.
what previously was thought. And even though we have all of this technology and we have the ability now, which is exponentially increased our chance to get access to the information, it's having it become practical for us and delivered in a way that we can receive it and we can utilize it in our day, and it becomes a part of our lives, so we're living it, because again, that's where we're changed. That's how now we are being that in the world, and making that shift for each other, as well as for ourselves. So it's this microcosm as a reflection of the macrocosm, and then the other side of that, the macrocosm as a reflection of the microcosm.
And the interesting pathway that we're finding is that as we go deeper into the material science, like let's blast particles apart even more and more, like the Bose-Higgs accelerator, and then we'll get to that tiniest particle and we'll understand everything in the universe. Well, when you get to that tiniest particle, what happened? I mean, maybe you know about that experiment, is what happened is that the material went into pure energy. And then they're like, oh, okay. So it's basically the basis of everything material is unseen, is pure energy. So part of what we're being asked to do, and there's a new field of study, relatively new, called quantum information biology, QIB, quantum information biology, because what we're starting to understand that it is the unseen energy, things you can't shove in under a microscope and make a formula about, that is the source of everything that we can measure. And the same thing with health. Just like Ember is saying, the power of our feelings and our elevated emotions have everything to do with how we shift our cellular polarity, our organ polarity, how we shift the physiology of our bodies. And so part of our awakening here is to understand that these big shifts in what we see as healthy living and well-being are going to be more focused on the unseen energy that we can feel and cultivate. Yeah, because each of us can feel that elevated energy and take it into the way we interact with our children, into the way that we feed ourselves, into the way that we speak with the family, into the way that we think about the pandemic. And that really is our flashpoint of power, that unseen energy within each of us that can go into fear or decide consciously to transmute fear into hope and new possibility.
Wow.
And that changes us cellularly to decide, I will be one of hope.
Wow. There's so many levels here of wellness. I mean, you were talking about the body, the cells, and then also what goes out into the community. And, you know, when we talk about wellness, we're thinking personal wellness sometimes, or a lot of the time. We're like, how can I stay safe? How can I protect myself? And then there's the wellness of that energy and intention behind that goes out to the wellness of aloha spirit, of taking care of other people, of the smiling eyes behind the masks, and how that shifts how we give each other space so that we stay safe. And so in the practical sense of things, it becomes easier, less fearful, even when we're wearing masks and we're walking around, because if each of our intention is from that place, then that aloha spirit just, it's like it translates through the unseen, but just the thoughts. And so then we're taking care of the entire islands, and maybe that aloha spirit kind of goes out to the world.
Absolutely, Angelina. Well said. So beautifully said. That's one of the upsides or opportunities of what's happening now, because we can't as easily physically interact or physically take action, we have the opportunity to feel how energetically shifting ourselves is making an offering to the whole. It really is, because each of us is part of the fabric of pure positive energy or source energy. And we can say those words and they really mean nothing unless we can feel that, right? And often we're too busy to feel that in a deep, sensitive way. But now, with this time apart and quieter pace of life, we have an opportunity to feel the aka field, as there it's called in Hawaiian wisdom, and to send aloha from our bowl of light out through the cords into the web, and know it is making a difference and feel it coming back to us.
So let's go from out to in, because I know a lot of people feel like when they have something to do, they feel more in control and less fear. So being proactive is a perspective also that we can take, and we can say, let's do this all together, and let's do this for each individual. So what are the things that each of you can tell us about what your wealth of knowledge and wisdom, what can you share with us on how to be proactive in our lives to be healthy at this time? And we're talking about mind, body, and spirit.
Right. Well, we had, so getting the sense of that, how the unseen creates the seen, creates our bodies and our functions in our bodies. We can have a conversation. We're always having a conversation with our body field, that unseen field from which then manifests the health or non-health of our cells and the functions in our body. And since most of us have come through an education system that tells us these are different parts, all these different systems are, the individual systems of the body. And yes, they do work together, but they're individual systems. But when we just have a recognition of that constant communication that we have with our body field as a whole, it makes it a little bit easier, because then we're like, oh, okay, what am I sensing right now, and where do I want to lead the conversation now? If we boil it down to I like to take things as simple as possible, because there's so much complexity and that can make things confusing. But the empowerment is just to see it simple and take a step forward, and that taking the next most enticing step is the way that we grow and change the quickest possible. And also recognizing that we're alchemists. This is what we're doing. This is what we're here to do. So the power is certainly within us. Even if we have been taught otherwise, that experts know better, the best place to operate and make the change within ourselves is from that place of power, recognizing we're the alchemists, and we create that chemistry within our body moment by moment. So with that in mind, looking at this, boiling it down to fear and love, these emotions, there's so many things that you can kind of equate with the love and equate with the fear. But for example, feeling fear might be, this sense of separation, disconnection, or lack. And then love would be the feeling of receiving, of abundance, of being in the flow of life and all that, the universe, the cosmos is providing to us. And when we step into that, then we're a part of that flow. That is what we're, emitting and into the world all around us. And knowing also through quantum theory that it's not necessarily about proximity. We can change things on the other side of the planet, because everything that we're doing is changing the whole. So I like to look at where the science has come through their understanding of going from the parasympathetic or the sympathetic side of the nervous system to the parasympathetic responses to stimulus. And when we're in the sympathetic response, it's more of a reactionary place where we're ready to fight or flee. And then when we can pause and feel inside and shift that, then we can be in a much more receptive, healing and love emitting space. And the vagus nerve is it's built for this, to make this shift. Then there's so many things that we can do to tone our vagus nerve. It is known as it's the largest cranial nerve. It's the 10th cranial nerve. And it connects from our brain through our diaphragm to all of our internal organs. And so it's kind of the master of harmonizing everything that's going on in our body. So if we get really good at little things and recognizing when we're toning our vagus nerve and when we aren't, then we can, we'll just do a little trick. So there's lots and lots of wonderful tricks out there to do that. The simplest, one of my very, very favorite, is humming or singing. Just humming, that toning. I mean, and this is why also we feel such a shift when we are chanting mantra, because the sounds themselves carry a specific vibration, and we're changed by that. Our cells, everything is listening, and so we shift our body field through that. So that's one of my favorite, and being playful with it is always good, because you're more likely to infect others with it. That's what we want to infect.
Good infection. Positive infection. Jennifer, Lynn, I was wondering about maybe describing to people how yoga and meditation and breathing is proactive. I mean, it's like really taking care of ourselves so before anything happens. I mean, I guess it's creating wellness, so there's nothing that can actually enter because we're so well. That's how I see it.
Yeah, the body is designed to handle all kinds of interesting challenges and foreign objects that come into the bloodstream. And so keeping our immunity strong and the cells well fed and oxygenated, it sets up our defense team to handle things with ninja precision. And so immunity and polarity are strengthened through organized movement. And the mind is calmed and organized when there is rhythm. And just like Ember was mentioning, the power of music that has both a flowing vibration that can take us away from fear, which is more chop, separate. The sense of things being pitted against each other is sort of the fear mindset, and scarcity. Oh, there's only so much pie of abundance, and if there's a slice is bigger, mine is smaller. You can get a sense of this fear and separation and how that mindset is related. And so when we are in vibration and singing, there is more unity and a sense of abundance in the moment, just feeling the elevated energy of singing together. And if you add rhythm to that, the organization of rhythmic movement and rhythmic breathing create a calming of the body, so it is less of a barrier for health and more of a doorway to health. It is also less of a barrier to be uplifting to those around us, and more prepared to be an offering of healing and uplifting to those around us as well. So in the Hawaiian wisdom way, there are 3 kapus for the spiritual warrior. Maybe you're aware of this, but one of them says, know all that you possess through discipline. know all that you possess through discipline. And the idea is that if we are haphazard and scattered in our mental and physical selves, then there is not a clear open channel for that Amakua soul seed energy to come through, which is part of our own well-being and part of how we make an offering to the greater good, which those two are really one and the same. And so yoga is an opportunity to, in a daily disciplined way, organize, strengthen, open the body, find rhythm in the breath and mindfulness in the movement. And there is sort of a music to a good yoga practice where there is rhythm and you're aware of your breath, and the breath and the movement are in harmony. And that when we sit to meditate at the end, if we have done the clearing through breath and movement, there is such a wonderful portal that opens, and the inner sensitivity and the inner awakening is organic. It doesn't really make sense to try and move yourself into meditation if you haven't wrung the body out. In a sense, we need to kick our physical ass in order to calm it down enough to be receptive, right? And the breath, a lot of the breath that we do has sort of a ocean sweeping whisper sound. It's almost like a broom that's clearing away the mental clutter so that we can get into the deeper essence where there is so much health and so much love and so much support. And so the idea of the asana and the breathing leading us to a very organic and rich meditation, you shouldn't have to try to meditate. You just prepare well and you drop in organically. And so those are some of the aspects of why the daily practice can be such a important part of organic, proactive health.
You know, for the average person who has never done yoga and thinks of all this stuff as sort of woo-woo, I was thinking about how, like, we're so in our minds and sometimes we just can't get out of our own way. And like you're saying, the unseen and what natural wisdom that our bodies have, we're often preventing ourselves from just being healthy by allowing the natural things to work. And all of this that's part of nature is in this practice of the breath and meditation and rhythm that we all respond to naturally. So it actually isn't so woo-woo if you think about just getting out of your way and allowing your body to do what it wants to do. I mean, that's what a different way of saying what you said so eloquently in a lot more explanation.
No, I think that's really well said. And it sort of circles back to that first part of the conversation where we were saying that recognizing that life force intelligence is shimmering in every single cell of your body. I mean, every cell of the body has a holographic image of the whole body. That's why your liver cell knows how to be a liver cell and support the greater good of the whole of your body. And your big toe cell knows how to be a good big toe cell and do its job to support the whole of the body. No human engineered that. That's divine engineering. And it is the same with each human being and the whole of the planet. That's why personal health is no different than planetary health. You elevate your personal health, you are healing the planet. There's really no separation there. And that's hard for the logical mind to get, but we can start to explore it and experiment with it and feel it.
Yes. And when we feel it, we know it.
Yeah.
And that in itself perpetuates it. So,
so
well
we need
said.
Structure, like you were saying. We need structure. So we need programs. We need to rely on other people and wisdom that has been done before and researched before and laid out for us. And so the things that you both have studied have ancient wisdom. And so is there something that you can share with us about that, of really stepping into your ancient wisdom programs that really can help us to guide where, you know, we're kind of flailing right now? I mean, I feel like we're all like, oh, you know, we're trying to protect ourselves, but just put us on that path.
Yes, I would say that one thing, and first I'll say that ancient wisdom is fabulous. And one of the things I love and respect so much about the Hawaiian wisdom way and also Patanjali's Yoga Sutras is that they're offered as this very base set of aphorisms, small little bits of wisdom that are where we are inviting each individual to embrace them in their own way and flesh them out in a unique way. So there isn't any heavy dogma. Do it this way or you'll go to hell. Do it this way and you'll get to heaven. There is just not that. And the way that my teacher Sadhguru talks about it is every garland, every lei, as we say in Hawaii, every garland has a thread that holds it together. But nobody wears the lei for the thread. Check out my thread. Check out my thread. The beauty of the garland or the lei is how we decorate that thread, the flowers and the jewels and the leaves that we put on it to make it beautiful, to make it our own. And yet it couldn't be held together in cohesion without that thread. So a lot of this ancient wisdom is that thread, and then there is an invitation to evolve it and express it each individually, in each individual doing it uniquely. And I just love that. So that being said, one of the things that I would do is develop a way that you talk to God or talk to your soul or source energy, whatever word or phrase works for you. Like before you even hit the ground in the morning when you awaken, just have that soft conversation. Hello, hi soul, hello cells. Should we make it a good day? Yeah, let's make it a good day. All right. Everywhere we go, we have some, human responsibilities, but let's try, like Ember said, to be playful. Let's, as much as possible, have a good playlist going and get the kids involved in a song or whatever's appropriate for your life. To just, in your own way, have that quiet, maybe just 30-second conversation before your feet hit the ground is a wonderful way to walk more with God as you go through the day. Yeah. And then find some way early in the morning before you start the day to feel the outdoors, to step outside your house or stand near a window and to feel source energy above you and below you and beside you and in every cell. And to know that you are never alone and that you're being played with and being healed and you're being guided and you're being shown the way and you're being elevated and inspired and you're being soothed and nurtured and loved and played with and sung to. Just whatever inner dialogue or song that comes to you to evoke those feelings of connection to source and being dearly loved before you get to your humanness. That's really what the essence of yoga is. If you can get to the mat and do some poses, awesome. If you can sit down and do some breathing and move into a little meditation, awesome. But really, the essence is just your own way of feeling the presence of God within you every day. That's really what the practice is. But I'm happy to share a breathing practice if you'd like.
I would love that.
Yeah. Okay. So wherever you're sitting, sit up tall. You can sit on a chair or sit on the ground. And this is called Kapalabhati breathing. So the first part is going to feel like a little bit of sweeping. The sounds will be like rhythmic sweeping. And it's good to think about it as clearing the mind of habitual worry or negative prediction, which we do tend to. And then the second part is about feeling the rising energy within us and holding it shimmering inside us and perhaps focusing it on something specific. And then when we release that, we just feel for a breath or two. So maybe we'll do 2 rounds. It just take maybe a couple of minutes. Okay, so wherever you're sitting, tone your pelvic floor and be aware of your core. And we're going to take some short, sharp exhales. Don't think about the inhale. It'll be a chug from the belly pulling back. It sounds and looks something like. Okay, so practice that. You want the belly pulling back to push the exhale out. The inhale happens automatically. And so you find a rhythm that's good for you. The jaw is soft. It's really a bit of an abdominal work. Okay, so we'll do maybe about 30 pulses. So sit tall, inhale about 3/4, and begin the chug. And exhale completely and take a round of natural breath. Maybe you already feel a little bit different inside, just take note. And then exhale from that natural breath. And now tone your pelvic floor and sip in and inhale slowly. And as you sip in your inhale, pull energy from your pelvic floor up. And now your inhale is probably full, so hold the breath. Your inhale is full, your lungs are full, no breath moving. And then soften your eyes, but tone your pelvic floor and milk energy up. Close your eyes, milk energy up your throat to the center of your brain and hold it there for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then exhale slowly and allow a melting to move through your body. And then just take a round of natural breath, feeling. And then we'll do that one more time. So inhale 3/4 and begin Kapalabhati, the chug. Face is passive. Rhythm in the belly. And exhale completely and take a delicious round of natural breath. And then get ready for that internal breath retention. That just means we fill up the lungs and hold them full. So tone the pelvic floor and breathe in slowly. Tone the belly, milk energy up. Keep breathing in until you feel the fullness. And then draw the top of your throat back and stretch the energy into the center of your brain. Close your eyes. Hold the lungs full for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then exhale. Keep your eyes closed. And now just take maybe 5 breaths, enjoying the natural breath, eyes closed, and just feel your inner atmosphere. And then blink your eyes open. And so sometimes a simple discipline like that with the breath can create a palpable shift in our inner atmosphere and often lead to a very organic, almost urge to meditate, and to connect inward. So that's something I do almost every single day.
And it's really easy to do. And I really love that word, inner atmosphere. It just, I could, when you said that, I could just sense the entire inside of my atmosphere, I guess.
Yeah, great. Yeah, I know Ember has some brilliant ones too. I've been to her classes, so.
Thank you so much for that, Jennifer. This is our experience of being alchemists. We're alchemizing. Right now, we've just changed the chemistry in our entire body. Our brain is learning that. So even if you're doing that just for the first time ever, your brain is laying down neural pathways for that like crazy. And then the more that we sit in the essence of that, the blissful experience of that, and notice any ways that you have to describe it to yourself. You don't even need to give words to it at all, but just to feel saturated in that is telling all those new neural pathways, we're gonna, these are valuable. This is valuable real estate we just created here, and at the same time, it is telling the brain, the nervous system, to let go and kind of clear out some of those other ones that are not so life affirming, empowering, enhancing, and feel good. So we can do these simple things to make ourselves feel so good. And that is changing the world. And I really appreciate how you've spoken to that and given such words to it, both of you. It takes us sharing and bouncing off our perspectives and our different, perceptions to kind of complete the picture for ourselves so that we can experience more of our wholeness. And I think that doing this kind of a breath, the Kapalabhati, on a daily basis can just bring you there. It's something you can do that makes a shift, and then you have so many more possibilities. You have so many more options. And I just wanted to share a little breath practice as well. That's something that you can maybe do in the midst of your day if you're feeling or noticing a little bit of offness, just to bring some, because we're seeing how it's the rhythm that we're tapping into, and our body responds. And because we're cyclic beings, everything, all of our experiences are cyclic. And so you can do this anywhere at any time, just by shifting your awareness to your breath, whatever is happening in the moment, whether you're agitated or disappointed or feeling frustration or sadness, or if everything's going great. It's great to cultivate these things because we're training ourselves. We're building those neural pathways, and it makes it so much easier for it to happen. Eventually, we'll find ourselves doing it in a moment of need without actually having to cognitively initiate it. And that's what's so beautiful. Our body field, our nervous system is always listening. So this is just called a box breath. But if you think about it, just like a square, you're going, there's 4 sides to the square. So the counts are going to be the same number as you do each part of the 4 segments of the breath. And that can be counting to 3 or 4 or whatever's comfortable, or 6, whatever's comfortable for you. It can be an odd number, it doesn't matter. But you just take a deep inhale and a full exhale, and then you'll start your inhale and you'll just count slowly 1, 2, 3, 4 for the inhale, and then you'll pause at the top of your inhale without breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'll exhale. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you'll pause at the bottom of your exhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's just do that together we'll do 3 short rounds of it, and we'll take together a full inhale and a full exhale and begin. 1, 2, 3, 4, holding the inhale. 2, 3, 4, exhale. 2, 3, 4, holding the breath out. 2, 3, 4, inhale. 2, 3, 4, hold. 2, 3, 4, exhale. 2, 3, 4, hold out. 2, 3, 4, last one. Inhale. 2, 3, 4, hold. 2, 3, 4, exhale. 2, 3, 4, and hold. 2, 3, 4, and just return to your natural breath.
Delicious.
This can be so helpful to bring ourselves into rhythm, into harmony within that which is our energy field. And then everything else can match that.
Whenever I feel like I'm going through this rhythmic experience in the breathing, it reminds me of being in the womb. There's somehow that even in yoga class, when an instructor is talking, and it's just like rhythmic and it's soothing, and it's kind of a little like muffled in my mind, and I'm breathing, and I'm just like in a restful space. And I don't know if that is what calms the vagus or the parasympathetic. I don't know about all these things that, you both know about. But it brings me to a place where I can fully relax and feel like that child being held in that space of not needing to be or think or do at all. And that's where I find like the most peace in this human existence right now.
That's so well said, Angelina. And when you say, I don't know how to explain that physiologically, who gives a hooty hey? If we're always trying to explore things through material science, that is such a limited way to be alive. I would much rather follow your beautiful description of, I feel the rhythm of being held in the womb. Even though that I'm moving with the rhythm, I feel like the current has picked me up and is holding me and carrying me. I feel like I'm part of something bigger than myself, but I'm still managing myself. Yeah, forget trying to explain that logically. Go with those awesome feelings and descriptions. That's powerful.
Well, the
That's
takeaway
so
that I
much
feel
more
like,
powerful.
yeah, the takeaway that I feel like I've really gotten here is really the unseen. There's so much power in the unseen, and everything that we're doing here with the breath and each other and the pandemic, we can sort of trust and lean into that unseen.
Yes.
And as opposed to the uncertainty, it's really lean into that unseen and trust it and believe in it and go.
You know what helps me do that more is think about the Earth's electromagnetic field. It is invisible. It is invisible. How do we know it's there? Well, our GPS would not work if it wasn't there. Your GPS works because of an invisible electromagnetic field that is super organized, like a super grid. No human engineered that. That's divinely engineered. And it is so strong that when there's a solar flare from our sun, our Earth's electromagnetic field deflects it. And that's what we see as the northern lights. That's a mass coronal ejection from the sun being deflected by the invisible shield of Earth called the electromagnetic field. And our electromagnetic field, each individual is interacting with that electromagnetic field. And it is part of the Aka field that all souls are energetically interacting with each other, and the trees and the rocks and the non-humans. It is our web of interconnection. Unseen, absolutely real and alive and filled with love and well-being. So breathing to tap into that, or that beautiful vision that you were explaining with your yoga practice, Angelina, that's tapping into that, and that's proactive health. And you're right, it is very much rooted in the unseen. But love is unseen, and that's the most powerful thing, so we better believe in it.
That's right.
It's so interesting. I get like, chills, chicken skin, whatever you want to call it, when you talk about these things that connect the dots for us, because there's a part of us that just in our inside knows these things, but then we need our rational minds to connect the dots. So we go, yes, we can trust what we actually know. So thank you for those dot connectings because it just, what happens is I get this feeling because it rings true. It just like, yes, I feel it. It's true. There's something inside of me that's just like, woo. I just get like, whoa. And I feel so inspired. And to me, that's what happens when we spend time with you two, is that inspiration and that, awakening. Oh, really? Oh, cool perspective. And then that, wow, I just shifted chemically because of that.
Nice.
Right. And that model of it being of the GPS system, because this is our GPS system, this is our guidance, we're tapped into it and we're feeling it, and we're in that information flow. We have access to to everything that we need. And we don't need to give words to it because it's so much bigger than words could ever, ever even point to. But we try, you know.
Right. Give it the college try.
Yeah. And you know, what we're doing right now, I mean, as humanity is going through this process, the old paradigm crumbling, it was such a quantitative, heavy paradigm. And that is the rational feeling compelled, or the compulsion to give words to, or to logically define and identify. And that's only a part of us. That's something that we can do, and that's a wonderful thing. But when we're using it to our benefit, to our enhancement, to our evolution and our growth, and but it's this other side. It's the qualitative. It's the quality that we bring. That when we tap in, we have our awareness present. That grows. It grows our awareness in our life experience, in our interactions with our loved ones, with our friends, and you know, and we know this. We are so enhanced by the others in our life, that makes us more of us, you know. So I see it now, like we're flying toward that greater expression of the quality, the all, the unseen as felt way of living.
Yes.
Beautiful. Well, I know I could talk with you both for hours and just take in all this wisdom, but I do want to know a little bit about the programs that you do before we go. Can you tell us about what you offer?
Yeah, I'll just start with, well, I do something called neuro movement is one of the practices that I do. And that's using movement with a set of principles to have a conversation with the nervous system, so that the brain and the nervous system can create new neural pathways, can actually have new information by which it can then use that through divine intelligence to have more options, more possibilities. And right now I'm studying to be able to apply that, especially with children with special needs, because I feel that they are such an important teacher on the planet at this time. You know, most of us have had, you know, have been touched by children with special needs, and why do we have more coming onto the planet in the more recent years, as far as looking at it from a large perspective? What does that mean for us as a whole, as humanity? It's a teaching. So I've appreciated that, being a teacher. And then I also teach the Wim Hof method with my husband. Along with my husband, we do workshops. And the Wim Hof method is a really interesting set of practices using breathing and mind focus, or intention, and that really being with what you're feeling, being attentive to what you're feeling, through movement, which also breath is movement, thoughts are movement, and also cold therapy. So it has those three aspects: the breath, the focus, and the cold. And with the cold, we utilize cold showers, cold immersions from parts of the body to full immersion, whole body. And these are, all three of these we use together to work with a principle called hormesis, which is using a stressor in an intelligent, specific way, something that would cause stress to the body, in a safe and secure, intelligent, directed way, to go from sympathetic to parasympathetic. and also to tone up our vagus nerve and to become way more aware of ourselves internally. We're developing this interoception, the sense that we have that is not, it's not, we have a lot more senses than just those 5 that we were taught in school. And this is something that what yoga gives us, this interoception. When we bring our awareness to how we move through the practice and we're connected with the breath, we're putting it all together. And we can build ourselves through that. So it can sound a little like, what? You do what? You get into ice bath and immerse yourself? You know, I get the breathing thing. That's what people will say. I get the breathing thing, but what? Why would you want to do that? And I can only say to that is, it really needs to be experienced to answer that question, because something happens in the body that is so magical. It brings that space. It brings that pause, like what we're getting in our busy, crazy life that we had prior to this experience that we're having collectively with the pandemic. Now we're pausing. That happens with the nervous system, and something opens up, and you just get access to what I would speak to as the silence in an instant. And
I think maybe we'll do a whole nother segment on that, because it sounds so fascinating that maybe in a different show we can hear more and see more of how that works.
That would be delightful.
Really interesting. Jennifer, did you have some programs that you wanted to share with people that you're offering right now?
Yes. Yeah, we offer 3 yoga classes every day of the week, and they are offered in person at the studio and live stream. We have a camera that just picks up the teacher, and you can find out about everything at wisdomflowyoga.com. We also have teacher trainings and just yoga immersions. And we have a live stream yoga immersion that's happening November 2020. We're really looking forward to. It's just a deep dive into the 8 limbs of yoga, an experiential, shared via Zoom deep dive. And we're really looking forward to that.
Well, I've taken both of your yoga classes, and both of them are so yummy. That's how I think of them, is like, I just feel so good when I do them. And then the wisdom that you both have to share has been so inspiring to me. So thank you both for that. And as we do at the end of the show or the segment, I ask you, where are you going to zoom off to now?
I'm going to a marketing meeting with my social media peeps, and we're going to figure out how to share with the world the information about our yoga immersion in November.
Oh, how cool. That's great.
Woohoo. I am going to go out in the garden and get some good grounding with my bare feet on the earth, do a little bit of movement practice with the breath, and get in the zone before I jump in the ice bath and get myself rejuvenated and get that. It's such a euthanizing feeling. I describe it as that as well. And also to get my mind really open for some of my studies that I'll be doing this afternoon.
That sounds awesome. And I'm going to go probably bring my husband some food, because he's not entering our house at all. He has 4 more days of quarantine. He was tested negative, by the way, but still, even though you're negative, you have to quarantine for 14 days. So he's being extremely responsible, which I really admire, and has not done anything to possibly infect us in the house. So that's what I'm going to do. And I just admire him so much, because it's hard. It's hard to not be able to enter your house and sleep in your own bed for 14 days and do anything, or get hugs, or laugh with your children, like side by side, all those things. So that's why I was
It's going to be so sweet in 4 days when he comes back in.
And
I want to be a fly on the wall.
When he gets out, it's his birthday. So we get to really celebrate and, hug and laugh and do all those things that, that we realize now, with the absence of those simple things, are are so precious.
How
It's like
precious they are.
that is what we want, those little simple things.
Love
So it's so awesome to have you both here. And if there's another topic opportunity, then I'm sure we'll see you again. So thank you for your time
Wonderful.
and your wisdom and your love
Thank
for
you.
me and everybody watching. Thank you.
Thank you.
you.
Okay, well, aren't we so lucky to have those women in our community? Thank you so much, Jen and Ember. You are such wise women and such a support to all of us. Okay, so Maui Mama, are you listening? I'm talking to you. So this show is for you. And if there's anything that you have to share with us that's insightful, inspiring, informative, that you think will help the Maui Mama, then please let us know. Get in touch with me. DM me on Facebook. All right, so Kristen de Blasio, remember her? She donated her inheritance to the Maui Humane Society, to the Forever Pets program. Well, there is a pet there waiting for you. If you want some comfort in your life during this pandemic, pets are such a great comfort. They just help us through sometimes, and we need that little cuddly thing that doesn't talk back to us. So we will leave you with those beautiful pictures. Take a look closely because any one of those pets could be yours. They are available for adoption now. And for now, thank you so much for being with me here. Stay safe, take care, be well. Aloha.
Wasn't I meant to lie in your arms here for a while? I'm alive and I take you in. I've been falling, calling. When I reach out, you will hold on. Was it a rainbow falling? Was it a rainbow falling? When I touch you, it will break through. Was it a rainbow falling? Was it a rainbow falling? Oh, was it a rainbow falling? Oh, was it a rainbow? Here am I, meant to find little peace of mind. You dream away for a day. All I need is true, and I'm falling, calling. When I reach out, you will hold on. Was it a rainbow falling? Was it a rainbow falling? When I touch you, it will break through. Was it a rainbow falling? Was it a rainbow falling? I've been falling and I've been calling. Oh, was it a rainbow falling? When I